But, so, let's head on to the gameplay, shall we? So, it's kind of an interesting take. They went back to the 90s sort of feel of action adventure games for first-person shooters, which means you're back to just two weapons, and honestly, it's a lot more streamlined. There's not as much chaotic moments or over-the-top moments, even though there are still plenty of 90s over-the-top moments. But the fact is that unless this brings a nostalgic feeling to you, you're not going to feel like it's that special. For me, I've never gotten to play the old Duke Nukem games in the 90s because I was a little kid growing up. I had no idea of such violent games could actually be released into this world. But as I mentioned before, because I'm new to the franchise, playing this game like a 90s game, it was a unique take, and I do give him credit in that sense. However, there's nothing really interesting besides that. It's still the bland gameplay, blending of maybe Call of Duty or Halo or any other first-person shooter you put out there. And then other times, like I said, it's in the 90s. I mean, choose which one you're going to do at least. Make a clear statement of what the game is going to be about when it comes to gameplay. Duke Nukem does not get it done, and it's frustrating sometimes to watch. So, honestly, and the other thing is, too, I'm going to add the loading times. Now, I understand, like I said, I mentioned it's 15 years in the making, so clearly they had some problems while making this game. But for short levels, for a campaign that doesn't take that long to beat, on top of the loading times, oh, I couldn't even stand waiting about a minute or so while the thing takes up loading times or whatever. It's ridiculous. Waiting up to a minute and a half at times for loading for levels that maybe last you about an hour, ridiculous. I can't even believe that they did that. It's inexcusable. I don't care how long it's taken. I don't care what troubles you might have had to go through to make this. That is inexcusable. But that being said, it is a unique style of gameplay that we haven't seen in a long time. So in that sense, it's kind of unique in that sense. So let's go to the acting. Now, it's hit or miss. And what I mean by that, well, Duke himself is great. The one-liners totally fit the bill. Now, I understand the story, as I mentioned, I really criticized, but it is clear where they're going when it comes to Duke. He's the one-liner kind of guy who can go in there. He's tough. He knows everything. He's the king of all of gaming. He knows what to do. He can stop an alien invasion by himself. But it's just that despite his one-liners and despite a very good acting performances from the voice acting of Duke, the other voice actors, it's like they came and they were asleep while doing their roles, and then they just put it out whatever they saw on the script lines. Like, give me a break. They sound so bland and so uninteresting. You just want to get to the next chaotic moment or action moment. It's ridiculous. And honestly, it really ticked me off at some points because it's like, oh, well, you got this alien invasion going along, but yet you guys don't seem to really care about it. It's like, just a normal thing happens every day. And like I said, I understand that this is a game not to be taken too seriously, but to me, it makes the motivation so less than what it could have been. And honestly, they could have at least made the characters interesting while you fight alongside them as Duke. And that, to me, was inexcusable. That being said, like I said, Duke is great, and honestly, his performance alone almost gives this a perfect rating, but I'm going to take 1 star off, and honestly, as you guys will find out later, it's going to miss that 1 star. So, finally, the replay value. Now, I shouldn't even talk about this. There's almost literally no replay value unless you want to go through the same gameplay constantly. There's nothing new that you can ever explore. Take a game like Halo Reach where you can do certain additions like Forge, or not just on the multiplayer, but you can create your own worlds, create different levels, do certain game modes, change up things. The replay is amazing in a game like that. In this game, the multiplayer is there, don't get me wrong, but it is terrible. It is constantly the same thing as you could find in any other shooter out there. It's just capture the flag, the team deathmatch. You might as well buy a Call of Duty game because it's clearly better than this. And honestly, there's some things that honestly, even as a gamer, I find it as though they think that we males believe in some certain oriented ways. For example, capture the flag, they changed that to capture the babe. Like, are you kidding me? Look, I understand that this game is very male-oriented, But give me a break. That is one of the lamest excuses for a capture the flag style I have ever seen. And honestly, some of the things that you do in the game are pretty ridiculous and over the top, but get boring after maybe 5 or 10 minutes. I only played a few matches, and I got sick and tired of it. It was inexcusable. And that honestly was one of the few things I was looking forward to in this game. But unfortunately, like most of the rest of the game, they had to screw it up. And honestly, it just drives me crazy just talking about it even. So, ending this, overall, I have to say, it is one of the most disappointing games of this year. There's no question about it, especially as much of hyped up as it is. So overall, for a game that should have been released, as I said, in the 90s or maybe a little bit later, maybe it would have been good. But no. So overall, I'm going to give the graphics a 2 out of 5, a story 1 out of 5, gameplay 3 out of 5, acting 4 out of 5, and replay value 0 out of 5. Not even 1 star was worth it for the replay value. That sickened me. And honestly, this game overall, with its 10 out of 25 overall rating for 2 out of 5 score, I mean, my God, this was a game that people were talking about could be the best game of the year. Best game of the year, yeah, best game of the year. Go check out LA Noire if you want a good game. This game is a disgrace. It is not worth the $60. And honestly, if I had the opportunity to not play this game, I would have. It wasted my entire time, and boy, did it tick me off most of the time. Honestly, it's a disgrace. Stay away from it. And I mean that. Stay away. So, overall, that will be it for today's week's show for Relentless Reviews. I'm Joshua Englander. Do not play this game. Good night, everybody.